Thinking about moving to Des Moines? Well, before you pack your bags, there are some mistakes that I see people make all the time. They can cost you time, money, and a whole lot of frustration. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the biggest mistakes that people make when they're moving to Des Moines, and you're going to be able to avoid them and move with confidence. Mistake number 5 might surprise you. It's one of the reasons that a lot of people regret moving here. So let's get right into it. My name is Andre. I'm a local realtor here in the Des Moines area. So whether you move in next month or maybe even next year, give me a call. I'd love to help you make a smooth move to the Des Moines area. Mistake number 1 is only looking in one area. Look, there's a whole lot of great areas here in the Des Moines area. I know you've probably done your research and you picked your area, or maybe you haven't, but you might pick an area and then you're going to focus on that area, and maybe you might leave some of the other areas out. There are some great areas, like in Waukee, Urbandale, Johnston, Ankeny, West Des Moines, even Norwalk. They're great areas everywhere. So if you're looking for instance, a well-established neighborhood, tree-lined streets, lots of, walkable, quiet. There's some great areas in the West Des Moines area, but that's not the only area like that. There are areas in North Ankeny like that. There's an area in Urbandale. There's some in Johnston, definitely some in West Des Moines. We could probably find something in Norwalk. Anyway, don't just focus on one area. You're going to want to cast a wide net, especially at first. Yes, eventually we're going to focus on just one little spot, and we're going to find a great home that fits all of your, checks all your boxes, and that you're going to love. And we'll focus on an area, but don't do it in the beginning. So that's a mistake some people make. Mistake number 2 is underestimating a commute and the traffic. Look, this is not Chicago and it's not Dallas. The traffic here really isn't that bad. The average commute is only 20 minutes, but an extra 10 minutes might frustrate you, or you don't want to go through this certain area. So you're going to want to really pay attention to the commute. After you find your area, get in your car, get into that rush hour traffic and see what it's like, or get into the traffic when you have to go to work or pick up the kids, or go, here's a big one, go to the after school pickup for the kids. If you've got kids, some of those after school pickups can be brutal, long lines waiting for the kids if you're not putting them on a bus. I ran into that with my kids. Anyway, you're going to want to pay attention to little details like that you don't want 6 months down the road after you found the perfect house and the perfect location, and then you realize, oh man, this is going to be so aggravating. I've got to take a left onto this busy 4-lane street in rush hour, and it takes, whatever. Or I got to go through 3 light cycles at this light, and this aggravates the heck out of me. Again, traffic here isn't really that bad, so but you want to consider it. Don't make the mistake of getting into this house and not considering the traffic and the commute. Mistake number 3 is ignoring the hidden costs, like property taxes, maybe HOAs, stuff like that. Look, property taxes are high in this area. Not the entire area. If you look at the averages, the Des Moines area is not that bad. But you're going to be looking more than likely in like some of the top suburbs, Ankeny, West Des Moines, Waukee, Grimes, Urbandale, Johnston. Those are the areas that everybody wants to be in, and more than likely you're going to want to look in those areas too. Property taxes in those areas are high compared to other areas, and maybe the state you're from, the property taxes aren't that high. Somewhere around $5,000 to $6,000 per year, for a $350,000 house. It's based on the cost of your house and your property. So you definitely want to look at it. It can be a lot higher in like Waukee and Ankeny versus somewhere like Des Moines proper or West Des Moines. I think West Des Moines is pretty high too. But anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000 for a $350,000 house. But anyway, don't forget to look at it. It could be a surprise. It's not going to add a whole lot of money to your mortgage per month, but if you're on a tight budget, you're going to want to look at that. The other big one is HOAs. HOAs get a bad name, and I totally get it. They can, restrict you from doing things that you want. They can be aggravating. You want to put a fence up for your dog and they won't let you. You only have to have this certain fence, or you want one of those electronic fences and they don't allow it. Sometimes they can be silly, but look, HOAs can also be a positive thing. You don't want somebody doing something next door to your house that devalues your house. For instance, painting it a funky color, or parking a camper in the front yard and maybe using it. Their son is in a bad way and unemployed and he needs to stay in the camper, whatever, stuff like that. You want an HOA to protect you from some of those things. So look at those costs. Some of them around here, $100, $150 per year. Some of them $200 to $300 a month. Those will cover some great stuff. You're going to get water and trash and snow removal and yard maintenance for those type fees. But look at them. Don't forget to look at them. Anyway, hidden costs can be a thing, so watch out. So if you like videos like this, honest look at the local market, you're going to want to tap subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the market in this area. Mistake number 4 is assuming that all schools are the same. Look, it's a big reason that people move here. Schools are one of the things that a lot of people are looking at, and you really should. If you've got kids and you're looking to move into an area, schools can be a really big deal. The great news is we have got some great schools, and most of these suburbs that I'm talking about are fantastic. Ankeny and Waukee are both number 1 and number 2 in most categories, but all the other ones are very close behind, and they're all A-rated schools and school districts. But watch out, you can, for instance, you can be in Waukee school district and, you have to send in 5th or 6th grade all the way 10 minutes west in Dallas County over there. So just be careful. Some of these school districts, you might move into Ankeny and not be in the same school district as somebody 2 neighborhoods over. So just be careful. Look at the school districts. You may want to be in a school district that has a high school with a really good football or sports program. I had a client one time, that's all they were looking for. They wanted to go to, in the West Des Moines area because the football program at the high school was really great. That's wonderful. Just be careful and make sure that the elementary schools and all their brothers and sisters are going to be happy too, and you're going to be happy. More than likely, though, I got to be honest, you're going to be pretty happy with the schools here. They're fantastic. I was really happy when we moved here. So great schools, but just watch the school districts. Mistake number 5 is forgetting about winter. I know, how can you really forget about winter? It's Iowa. And the winter is not just cold. You're talking about icy roads, slower commutes, heating bills, that kind of thing. You got to look out for all that stuff. Snow removal, garages, shoveling snow on your walkway or your front drive to get out on the way to work. All those things can make a really big difference. And the length of the winter sometimes surprises people. This is a really big one. Probably the biggest negative to come into Iowa is how cold it gets here. And look, it does get cold. You just need to stay inside, but you also have to be prepared. If you're not prepared, that can be very shocking. If you're coming from a place where you have mild temperatures like California or Tennessee or something like that, and you're coming here and you're going to expect, okay, yeah, it's cold for 2 months out of the year. No, it's not. It's cold for like 4 months out of the year, from like late November till April and March. And it can get really cold. Yes, November can be nice and March can be nice, but it also will snow in like March. So just be prepared. Be prepared with it. The heating bills might be a little higher. Your commutes may be a little slower. But one of the things you need to think about is, well, I'm just going to tell you, after February, last part of February, I get real tired of winter and I'm really ready for spring. And that can depress people sometimes. So it's not a reason not to move here. I mean, I think you still should move here. I love the weather. You just need to be prepared. Winter is long and it's cold, and you just need to be prepared for it. Mistake number 6 is moving without a local expert. Look, I know you may think you can do it by yourself, and you probably can. You can go to somewhere and buy directly from an owner, but it can be frustrating. There's inspections and forms and rules and laws that you might not know about. In addition to that, you may be looking in an area, and I've said it just a minute ago, but you may be looking in an area and you found something perfect, but you might not know some of the local quirks and pitfalls, the commute, or you might not know that there's an area just like this in a better location for you because it's closer to where you work or something like that. Local experts can be very helpful. And yes, I can be that local expert for you. I'd be happy to help you move to this area. And in fact, I would love to meet you and help you. Use a local expert. It can cause a lot of frustration if you try to do it on your own or use somebody who's not familiar with the area. I see lots of homes, lots of areas throughout the year, and I can be that expert for you. Mistake number 7 is waiting too long to buy. Look, I understand. Maybe you want the best interest rate. Well, that's fine. You can wait, and some people can time the market perfectly, but that's very rare. It's like trying to time the financial markets. It usually doesn't work out perfectly. If you've got a house to sell and you're waiting for prices to go down, then prices are down when you sell, right? There's always, trade-offs. Waiting to buy can cost you more, maybe in rent or cost of the house you're selling, or you're paying taxes. Also, if you wait for the perfect time, maybe the market dropped. Now the prices are going to be very competitive, and you might find that great house. You might not be quick enough. A lot of times I'll put a list of houses together and we'll request a showing, and boom, they're gone, because they're a great house. And if you wait for that great house, that might happen. Look, I don't want to push you into anything, but waiting, timing the market, trying to do all that stuff is really tough. If you're buying now and you get an interest rate that's, I don't know, maybe a point too high, it'll probably come down to a little bit lower in the near future, and you can refinance. I've got situations like that all the time. They bought at like 7.5%, and right now it's like 6.5%, and it's time to refinance. And it might go down to 5.5. I know there are some deals right now I can get you for 5.5. So anyway, waiting is tough, and timing the market is nearly impossible. I don't want to push you into anything, but sometimes it'll cost you more if you wait. So if you need to move or you want to move, go ahead and move. I've had a client who was looking for the perfect house, and they didn't find the exact perfect house, and then now they can't move. Circumstances have changed. So now they're, far away, and their grandchildren and children are here, and they still have to, only see them once a year when they have time to come over here. So anyway, waiting can be an issue. It's one of the mistakes people make. So anyway, maybe you shouldn't wait. So those are some of the biggest mistakes that I see people making when they're moving here. You're going to want to be, prepare for the winter. You're going to want to look at schools and areas. You're going to want to look at commutes. So all that stuff. Watch out for HOAs and hidden costs, all that stuff. And if you watch out for those things, you'll be way ahead of the game. So anyway, if you're thinking of moving to this area, I would love to help. I'll help you find the right home in the right area. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.